So this is writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. You hate it? I mean, you hate it? It's not worth your hate. Okay. So what are parallel lines? Lines that don't intersect? What if I have these two lines, like this pen and this pencil? Do they intersect? Okay, so it's more than just saying they don't intersect. They got to be in a flat surface, like in what they call the plane. So if they're in the same flat surface and they don't intersect, then they're parallel. That's what we mean by parallel. Actually, this has got a name for it. It's called skew, which I don't know whether you would have had it in one of these pre-something classes, but in geometry, you do a little bit of that. These are called skew lines, if it's not in the plane, right? In the plane, it's called parallel. So they don't intersect. So what do we know about the slopes of parallel lines? They're equal, right? Because if you look at the lines, right, they're going up and over exactly the same, right? I mean, they don't intersect here, and they keep going up and over exactly the same, so they never get any closer, right? So they have exactly the same slope. So parallel lines have the same slope. You got to remember that. Now, what they're going to do with that is they're going to be telling us to do what we've been doing up till now, but they're just not going to tell us directly. They're going to say, find the equation of a line that goes through this point and is parallel to this other line. So in your mind, you say, well, that means I got to find the slope of the other line. And then once you've got that, do what we've been doing. Okay, like here is an example. Write the equation of a line that passes through -3, -5, and it's parallel to y equals 3x minus 1. Right, so this is not our line, right? So we don't care about that line, other than the fact we know that our line is parallel to it. So what is the slope of this line? Right? For this line, m equals 3. So that's what we're doing. We're finding the equation of a line which has a slope of 3 and goes to the point -3, -5. Right? So we're using that parallel as a clue to the slope. It's not a very hard clue. It's the same. Okay, so now that if I know the slope and one point, how do I find... Well, what else do I need? I mean, to write an equation, I got the m. What other quantity do I need to write, let's say, slope-intercept? I need the y-intercept, right? I mean, just like we did on the board for the homework, right? We got to find the b. We got the m. How do I find the b when I know one point and the slope? Okay. -5 is the y, right? -5. The slope is 3. The -3 is the x, and then the b is what you don't know. So solve for b. -5 equals -9 plus b. Add 9. 4 equals b. Are you done? No, remember, you got to, because a lot of on your quizzes, like you just calculate a slope and you walk away from it. If the directions say write an equation, you're not done until you've written the equation. And so what will this equation be? 3x plus 4, right? The m is coming from that. The b is coming from that. Done. What if they ask for it in standard form? You could, yeah, move the 3x. Okay, so here's your you try. Write the equation of a line that passes through the point -2, 11, and it's parallel to the line y equals -x plus 5. Okay, quiet. I'm going to go over it. There's still some of you that aren't getting it. Quiet, please. Right, so what is the slope of this line? M equals -1. Remember, that's the only thing you care about for that line. Don't worry about the plus 5. It's got nothing to do with our line. Now we're trying to find the equation of a line that has a slope of -1 and it goes through the point -211. So if we go to the y equals mx plus b, we will get 11 equals -1 times -2 plus b. More than one of you had plus 5. Well, at that point, you don't even have anything to solve for, right? You've got to have something to solve for. So this is 11 equals 2 plus b. b equals 9. So our equation is y equals -x plus 9. Okay. That is parallel. Okay, what does it mean for two lines to be perpendicular? Did you ever hear that word? Yeah. Okay, so. Okay, well, it says it right there. Perpendicular lines in the plane, right, intersect at a right angle. What's a right angle? 90 degrees. So perpendicular lines are like that, right? So perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite and reciprocals. For example, if one line has a slope of m1 equals 2/3, the other line would have to be -3/2. Opposite, reciprocals, right? If one line has a slope of -4/5, then the other line would have to be +5/4. Right? How about if one line has a m1 equals 1/2, what would be the other line? -2, right? And same thing, if m1 equals -3, what is the slope of the other line? Okay, is -1/3. Opposite, oh sorry, positive. No, it's not negative, sorry. Positive. Opposite sign, flip the fraction. Now, if you look and see, like in the book, how they describe this, what they say is if you multiply the two slopes, you should get -1, which is true. Like 2/3 times -3/2 is -1. -4/5 times +5/4, -1. 1/2 times -2, -1. So if you multiply the two slopes, you should get -1. But again, how are you going to find it? You're just going to say opposite reciprocals. Okay, so determine which lines, if any, are parallel or perpendicular. So let's see, for those three lines, I can tell the slope of the first line, can't I? Yeah. What is it? 5. So m equals 5. Okay, the next one is not in slope-intercept form, so I can't tell yet. So how do I put it in slope-intercept form? Solve for y, right? So if I solve this for y, I'm going to get, if the x is positive on the left, what is it on the right? So I got 5y equals -x plus 2. Divide everything by 5, right? Divide by 5. Divide by 5. Now, in the end, I don't really care about the y-intercept. All I care about is the slope. What's the slope of that line? -1/5, right? -1/5. That's kind of a sloppy. Let me make that a better 5. Okay, so this one had m equals -1/5. Okay, what's the slope of the last one? Again, we got to solve for y. Equals 2x, okay? Then what? Divide by -10. Divide by -10. So y equals -x/5. So what is the slope? -1/5 again. Okay, now we can answer the question. Which of these lines are either parallel or perpendicular? How about, okay, so A and B are perpendicular. What else? Right? Actually, you could look at A is 5 and then B is negative 1/5, but C is negative 1/5 too. So A and B and A and C are perpendicular to each other. They cross at right angles. What about B and C? They have the same slope, so they're parallel. Right?
If they have the same slope, they're parallel.
Yes, parallel lines have the same slope.
So the wires doesn't matter.
No, we're just comparing slopes, right? A and B, A and C are perpendicular. Right? B and C are parallel. Okay, so here's one for you to try. No, I actually didn't have a you try in there, so that's it. I think that was a mistake. So how much homework? No, we've already reviewed in the course of the day. Everything you'll see on the quiz is what we've already done in class.